Well, there went all my... Anyways, here we have the Moon Princess mod for Snooty game. Like, the only Moon Princess I know is Princess Luna. I don't know what this could possibly be about. Next was Maltz, a Moon Princess. Let us begin. I look up at the night sky. The moon is shining like a diamond. The breeze, cold yet gentle, ruffles my hair, or lack of it, now that I think about it. There is a figure standing before me, facing the same sky. The girl is looking up, her eyes glittering, her wings spread out. She wished that her wings would take her to that moon. Her elegant figure dazzles me. The beauty of an angel, too pure for this world. Am I in a dream? Snake eater? She turns to me, smiling gently. Her eyes are wet, but she's not crying. Not anymore. Thank you. As she says that, my heart skips a beat. I want to embrace her. I want to give her everything. I love her. The moon is truly beautiful tonight. Is this an anime or some shit that I've never heard of? The small bedroom is dimly lit by the early dawn. The alarm clock I'm used to hearing is silent. I open my eyes and check the time. Something compelled me to wake up 2 hours earlier than usual. And yet, I don't feel tired at all. The room looks the same as ever. Somehow messy and empty at the same time. Things scattered all over the place. But something seems off. What a strange feeling. I bring my hand up to my forehead. Sweat. Now that I think about it, I did have an unusual dream. Though I can't remember it for some reason. There's no sign of sleepiness. So instead of lounging and scrolling the internet for 30 minutes like I normally do, I decide to get up. As I drag myself out of bed, something catches my eye. A notification on my phone. Someone must have sent me a message. This early in the morning, though, who could it even be? I pick up the phone and check the app. It's from Fang. Judging by the timestamp, she sent it last night, after I went to sleep. I'm down with a cold. Nothing to worry about. Though I'll probably skip school tomorrow. I didn't even know that dinosaurs get colds. Though I should probably text her back just in case. You doing good? I can drop by if you want. No response. Probably still sleeping. Whatever. I'll think about it later. Should probably eat something before going anywhere, though. I wash my face and take a shower. Then, with my morning routine out of the way, it was time to make breakfast. A simple omelet with bacon would do just fine. While the whole thing is shimmering on the pan, I stare at my phone and scroll the Mongolian basket weaving forum. As always, my mind is still stuck on Fang and her sudden sickness. Is it because she wore her usual skimpy attire in this surprisingly cold weather? Maybe I'll ask her if she has a jacket or something. Damn, now I sound like her mother. Speaking of which, I remember Fang telling me that her parents are usually out in the morning, and I know that Nazer always arrives to school early, so Fang should be alone. It wouldn't be much of a hassle to give her a surprise visit right now. My phone's still silent. The messages remained unread. Just to be sure, I call her number. No response. Now I'm starting to wonder if it's serious. Maybe Fang got the flu. Or maybe not. Maybe I'm just being a worrywart. As my thoughts continued to race in all kinds of directions, the breakfast was finally ready. I think I burned it. Guess it's gonna be that kind of day. I picked up my bag and checked the contents. Writing utensils, notes for today, a student ID, and a lunch card. Yep, everything's in place. So as I take my phone, I consider how to go about this morning. Let's go look for some trouble. Yeah, for the peace of my own mind, I really should drop by. I do have about an hour to spare, even if it's nothing serious. I just want to see her again. I call a taxi and head outside. The morning air is chilly as usual. The temperature had been unnaturally low for the last month or so. People are getting visibly frustrated. Everyone planned to ditch their jackets last month, but Mother Nature had other plans. Personally, I don't mind. It's not like I have a lot of wardrobe options in the first place. The same kind of shirt, but a different color. That's the way we do it. As I wait for the cab, the upcoming school day comes to my mind. I got dried up boogies on me. No one's planning anything special, so I guess I'll keep a low profile and see how Trish and Reed are doing. They haven't been practicing recently, and now Fang might be out of commission as well. What a shame. As I ponder Verm Drama's future and my own existence, the cab arrives. It looks pretty beat up and old, but that's the kind of service you get in this part of town. I get in and give the driver Fang's home address. That's probably not a good idea. As the car speeds through the town, I soak in the atmosphere. This has to be from something that you put a filter over. Humans and dinos alike rush through the street, hurrying to catch the bus or get somewhere or whatever. Most shops are still closed, but some are unpacking the goods already. Kids with excessively large backpacks are waiting for the school bus. Despite the cold, the sky is clear, so today is promising to be a fine day in general. Even in the early hours, it seems that Volcadera is as awake as it's ever going to be. As we approach the more affluent part of town, I check my phone again. Still nothing. She hasn't been online since yesterday. I hope I don't disturb her too much. The driver slowly pulls to the side as we arrive at the destination. I give him the tip and get out of the car. Fang's house seems completely silent. Hopefully her parents are out, but if they're not, I can always tell it like it is. She got sick and I'm worried, so I came to check things out. Even her dad shouldn't find a problem with that. Who am I kidding? He'll try to murder me regardless. Ring! The doorbell sounds. No answer. I pick up the key. Fang hides under a garden rock. Open the door and enter. Fang, you awake? Darling? A girl walks down the staircase, wearing only a shirt, rubbing her eyes meekly. I am now. She looked at me, somewhat surprised. And why are you here at the ass crack of dawn? I got your message. Called you back, but you didn't respond, so I decided to drop by before school. I think I turned my phone off, so Trish wouldn't drive me up the wall with worry. You know how she can be. Damn, I knew I was worrying too much. Sorry for waking you up like that. Nah, it's all good. I usually get up at this hour anyways. Still, I'm glad I got to see her. She doesn't look sick at all, so my worries subside. So, how are you doing? Nothing to worry about. It's just a cold. I used to get these all the time when I was a kid. Well, come on in. Don't be shy. Wait just a sec first. I gotta get myself ready. As she hurries up the stairs, I close the door behind me and step into the living room. Fang's house is looking as lavish as ever. Spick and span, too. Her mother must be taking a lot of care to keep it that way. No one else is home, so thankfully I don't have to worry about being too intrusive. As I made my way to the living room, family photos on the wall caught my eye. There are pictures of Fang and Nazar as kids. I'm just imagining Fang's dad just catching these fish like a bear, you know what I mean? Just waiting by a waterfall, just biding his time and start jumping. Nazar still had both wings intact. Fang was always wearing Halloween costumes. It looks like pirates weren't the only fantasy young Lucy indulged in. I guess she really was that kind of kid. Her head in the clouds, dreaming about silly things. I was that kind of kid as well. All the way into junior high. For whatever reason, I pretended to be a hikikomori with crippling social anxiety. Except I never had any, beyond basic introversion. Guess I wanted to be like the protagonist of that anime I watched. What was it called? NHK or something. It's weird how things kind of come around like that, isn't it? Kids can have some weird role models, like a Japanese guy who flies on a cloud. But let's not dwell on painful memories. As I studied the old photos, a slightly hoarse voice called out from upstairs. "I'm ready. Get your ass up here." I walk up the familiar staircase and enter Fang's room. It's as messy as ever. The air is stale, and I can see a small mountain of medicine on the shelf above Fang's bed. Come on, sit your butt down. Fang is now dressed in her classic punkish attire. I guess she feels incomplete without it. Fang gestures to the chair at her bedside as she lies down. As she is trying her best to look healthy, but slight sluggishness betrays her. Even after everything we've been through, it's somewhat jarring to see Fang bedridden. I open the window to let fresh air in and sit down. So are these dino colds contagious to Homo sapiens like yours truly? This was on my mind for the past 30 minutes. Fang gives me a faint, surprised look and giggles. Heh, should have worried about that before you came here, stupid. Don't worry, it's safe for you. Or at least it should be. I'm not actually sure. I think I slept through that lesson. Not that I'm worried about getting sick myself, but I have to admit that some aspects of our life are still a complete mystery to me. Slept well? Slept well? You're the tardiest person I know. Don't you forget it. It's unusual to see you up and about at this hour. I don't know what happened today. I had a strange dream, and I woke up full of energy. Didn't even need an alarm clock. One of those days, I guess. I had a weird dream myself, you know. Can't remember it now, though. She tilted her head to the side, deep in thought. How's healing going, anyways? I've only been sick since last night, Dumbo. It's gonna last. Mom gave me the usual meds. Now I'm just resting. Like I said, it's gonna be fine. You said you've been getting these colds since you were a kid. Yeah, always around the same time, too. I may not look like it now, but I was a bit of a sickly kid. As I ponder if her usual pale and thin complexion still constitutes as sickly, Fang suddenly perks up. Hey, why don't you stay for a bit? Mom won't be back for at least a few more hours, so let's have some fun. Pass me the guitar. Fang's eyes lit up as she pointed at the instrument on the floor. She definitely wanted me to stay. Actually, I was about to head out. I just wanted to check how you were doing, that's all. Come on, don't be such a killjoy. She throws me a dissatisfied glare. If I don't leave for school right now, I'm definitely going to be late. And I'm not a straight-A student either, so it might cause some problems down the line. I feel like if I stay any longer, your dad will descend upon me from the heavens like a bolt of divine punishment. Don't worry about Dad. He always comes home late. Come on, I want you to stay for a bit longer. Those puppy dog eyes. She knows I can't resist the puppy dog eyes. What should I do? I'll spend a bit more time with yous. Come on, Anna, stay a bit longer. Besides, you did wake me up, you know. Well, she's absolutely correct. I did barge in uninvited and woke her up. Leaving like this would be pretty damn rude. I certainly care about her more than schoolwork, so I can afford to be an hour or two late. Okay, you win. I'll stay. She smiled cheerfully, eyes full of delight. I knew you couldn't resist. Come here, I'll show you something I've been working on. I hand the guitar to her and she sits up on the bed, getting ready to jam. This is still only a bass line, so tell me what you think. Her thin fingers played the chords as naturally as they always did. She didn't use a guitar pick. Instead, she plucked the strings with her long nails. It's a curious medley. A little melancholic, but with an undertone of tranquility to it. Sounds like a love song. While I kept listening, my mind starts to wander. I remember the first time I heard Fang play on the school roof. I didn't really understand her back then, but her music helped me understand. I remember how I visited her house for the first time, and she helped me learn the same instrument she's handling so masterfully right now. Fang looks completely in her lane. That picture makes me laugh. Playing with a tranquil smile, moisturized, unbothered. While the melody is somewhat rough, it's as beautiful as anything she wrote before. Maybe even more so. After a few more chords, she finished playing and looked up at me, her eyes pleading for applause. So, what do you think? I think it's great. And surprisingly lyrical. What made you come up with something like this? You did, dweeb. I want to write a love song for us. Goodness gracious. Aren't I a lucky man? Her response made me do a double take. As I felt blood rush to my cheeks, I couldn't think of an answer on the spot. That's very nice of you. Thanks. Watching me stumble through words, she burst out laughing. You're too goddamn adorable, Annan. Come here. She sets the guitar aside and spreads her arms and wings, demanding a hug. Being the man that I am, of course, I couldn't turn down the offer. As I stood up from the chair, she sprang up herself and embraced me. She was slightly warmer than usual. No doubt her body temperature was still unstable. Still, her delicate hands and soft feathers felt as good as ever. This drove any prior worries about school straight out of my mind. As I let her go, an idea occurred to me. Hey, I bet you haven't gotten a meal in yet. How about I make you breakfast? And burn it horribly. Sure, you know I could never refuse your cooking. Beats whatever the hell Mom will be feeding me today. Okay, then it's settled. Wait a bit, and I'll cook something up and bring it here. As she nodded to me, I picked up her phone and to pass the time, I left the room and went downstairs to the kitchen. The kitchen is as spotless as ever, so I try not to make a mess. Fang would have to lie that she made breakfast herself if I want to remain unnoticed by her parents. So I don't want to put her in a bad spot. I rummage through the fridge, looking for something I could work with. It would be a good idea for Fang to eat something hot. That always helps with colds. Thankfully, they have raw chicken, so I can make chicken soup. Cooking didn't take long. After the soup was ready, I threw the leftovers out and looked for something to carry it on. Fortunately, a breakfast tray was on the cabinet to my right. A bowl of soup, a glass of juice, and some bread. That should be enough. I picked the tray up and carefully carried it upstairs. Fang's eyes were fixed on me as I brought her breakfast. This smells so nice. They've been feeding me nothing but those meds since last night. Thank you, Annan. I didn't know the situation was that dire. If your mom asks why there's a chicken leg missing, tell her you cooked it. She'd be in for a shock. I'm a lousy cook. As Fang ate her soup heartily, I lounged in the chair, feeling pride for myself. Nothing feels better than seeing someone enjoy your cooking so much. This is delicious. Damn, I wish you could be here all day. Then I'd be up and running in no time. A very, very dangerous thought. I doubt her dad could be won over with the chicken soup quite that easily. Well, the way to a man's heart is his stomach. His ever-expanding stomach. I doubt her dad could be won over with chicken soup quite that easily. We both stay silent as Fang enjoys her breakfast. One would expect her to be a sloppy eater, but she's surprisingly careful. But suddenly, something strange happens. With a spoon still in her mouth, Fang's eyes widened, as if she just saw a ghost. And then, coughing, she dropped on her pillow like a rock, with a pained expression. Inappropriate music. There's music tracks in the game that would suit this. Fang, are you okay? I dashed to Fang and grabbed her by the shoulders. Her face wore a betrayed expression. I always speak too early. What did you put in that soup? Nothing unusual, just the stuff I always use. I started listing the ingredients as they came to my mind. Chicken, ginger, powder, pizza. So it's a chicken, a pizza. Ginger powder, garlic, butter, carrot, mushrooms. Fang suddenly groaned. Mushrooms. Don't ever fucking use mushrooms. It took her a little while to get to the mushroom part of the soup. How could you not notice the mushrooms? They're floating right in there. They make me gag. Mushrooms are good. What are you talking about? I gotta go then. Fang is lying on her bed with her back turned to me. She's not even bothering to respond. Well, take them out then. Note to myself, Fang has a very sensitive palate. Sorry, I'll be more careful next time. It's okay, thanks for dropping by. If you see Trish, tell her I'm doing well. I'm sure she'll be as a worried mess as usual, so I'll leave her to you. Sure, you take care of yourself too. I give Fang a peck on the snoot, leaving her slightly flustered, and stepped out of the room. I leave Fang's house and glance at my watch. If I hurry, I should still make it to the third period. And so, lunchtime has arrived. The clatter and chatter of students packing their things and hurrying out for lunch filled the room. Trish has already left, and Reed was nowhere to be seen. I considered what I should do now. Recently, Fang and I started a tradition of an eating on the roof, where I'd bring something I cooked up for the both of us. It's a nice change of pace, even though we'd be screwed if any of the school staff noticed. But since I didn't have any kind of lunch with me today, I would have to stick with the cafeteria. Their food was always lousy, but it beats going hungry. As I stand up and glance around, most people have already left. Well, let's see what the school will grace us with today. Murmuring to myself, I shuffle out of the classroom and head to the cafeteria. This place is full of people as usual. I find myself standing in a long line for lunch. I'll probably go with something simple, like a sandwich. As the line continues moving at a snail's pace, I look around for anyone I know, or a spot where I can sit down. Most tables were already occupied. I can't begin to imagine how these people managed to get here so fast. I spot Nazar and Naomi on the other side of the cafeteria. It looks like they're chatting about something. Well, more like Naomi is chatting about something and Nazar only nods from time to time. I wonder if she's drilling him on the athletics festival we're supposed to have in a month. Hang in there, brother. Brother. And then there's Trish. She's sitting alone and looks very restless, nervously tapping her horn and not eating a bite as she clutches her phone. Strangely, Reed doesn't seem to be anywhere. I hope those two didn't have a spat of some kind. Trish is not good at making peace with people, so it would be a lot of a headache for me and Fang. Although I can't imagine Reed getting angry with anyone for any reason. Finally, I managed to grab my tray of food. Let's see. I think I'll... whiff. On one hand, interrupting Trish now might not be the best idea. She tends to get explosive when she's nervous. But I couldn't leave her alone like that. She looks like an abandoned kitten. I made my way to the girl sitting by herself. Hey Trish, what's up? Huh? She looked up, surprised to see someone call her out. Oh, it's you. Sit down, we need to talk. Trish looked up at me with a somewhat tired expression on her face. Is it just me, or is there something unusual about her today? I take a seat at her table and grab the sandwich provided by the school cafeteria. It tastes like salty wet paper, which admittedly beats the usual plain wet paper flavor these things have. As Trish lets out a sigh, she looks about to burst into tears. I can't get in touch with Fang. And now it makes sense. I've been trying to call her all day. I'm honestly getting so damn worried. Actually, I visited her this morning. She's fine. Don't worry about it. Trish looked absolutely stunned. How did you... when did... Even a sigh of relief, she grins at me. Whatever. I should learn not to be so surprised by your shenanigans. It's good to hear that she's okay. I expected a more negative reaction. But when did you visit her? Is that why you were so late today? Yeah, I woke up kind of early and noticed her message from last night, so I decided to drop by, and I guess I lost track of time. I've been trying to call her about a dozen times since I woke up, but she's not picking up. I was about to visit her place myself, but I can't afford to skip any more classes, or Spears would cook me alive. I guess her phone's not working right. So, did she have any serious symptoms? Did you give her any meds? Just a hearty breakfast. Trish talks about Fang like she's a wounded puppy. I wonder if this is a common occurrence. Nah, but I cooked her some breakfast. She looked almost completely healthy, so don't worry about it. Oh, shut up. You have no idea how serious things could get with Fang. She was always like that. First, it's nothing serious, and then boom, it's flu, or something worse. Don't be a drama queen. Fang's a big girl. Fuck you. Fang wasn't exaggerating when she said Trish would be beside herself. Hey, you gotta have some faith in Fang, sis. If she says she'll be okay, then she'll be okay. I don't know why, but recently I developed a habit of calling Trish sister. She's my sister. She doesn't seem to mind. Well, I guess you're right. And where's Reed, anyway? I didn't see him in class. As I hoped, Trish lightened up once I changed the topic. He should be in the auditorium. Spears asked him to fix some audio equipment. I think they had an incident of some sort yesterday. It's taken a while, but we need that stuff. So I left it for him to figure out. So he's not even getting lunch. That's harsh. Reed can subsist on his backpack reserves all day. Don't worry about him. A smug grin stretched across her face. I'm not sure if she's showing pride in Reed's resilience, or if that's her sadistic streak talking. Listen, there's something I wanted to ask you. Trish's tone shifted to be a lot more businesslike. Remember the concert at Moe's place? Yeah, you guys did great. Of course we did great. Don't interrupt me. When it comes to Trish, her questions are usually rhetorical in nature. Do you think you can put me in contact with the owner? What, you want to do it again? We haven't played anywhere for a while. I think everyone's getting rusty. It's time for us to stretch our muscles a bit. I think back to the song Fang is currently working on. I guess Trish is not aware of it. I'm sure you can look up the reservations online. His joint is damn big. No, not like that. You just don't get it. Trish sounded somewhat impatient now. I want to be there in person. I want the owner to see that I'm serious about it. If I try making the reservation by phone after you showed up there with Fang, he'll think I'm just being entitled. The reasoning is hard to follow, but let's roll with it. Well, let's then go and give him a visit. Suddenly, Trish's cheeks... Sorry. Turned a slightly darker shade of purple as she avoided my... as I gave him a good... Oh, I'm sorry. As she avoided my gaze. I'm kind of bad with directions. I'm not sure where it is, but I always get off track when I'm in an unfamiliar part of town. I was taken aback by this rare admission of weakness. What about Reed? You can ask him to go with you. Reed was high as a kite that day. He doesn't even remember what the restaurant looked like. And I have no idea if he'll be available. While Trish tries to find ways not to make herself look completely pathetic, I can only imagine a lonely Triceratops girl getting disoriented and panicking the moment she sees an unfamiliar building. It's quite a heart-wrenching scene. So when are you planning on visiting? I was hoping to go there this evening. Trish rarely asks me for help, so it could be an opportunity to make a good impression. But even after we patch things up, I wonder if such an opportunity won't end badly for me. I think. I'll help out. Sure, we can go. Honestly, I didn't expect you to agree. Thanks for helping us sister out. It's no big deal. I don't have anything planned for today anyways. Maybe we can even visit Fang. No, that's a bad idea. If her godforsaken family is there, it might get ugly real fast. You're not on good terms with them? You fucking kidding me? Do you have any idea how much grief they caused Fang? Now there's the Trish I recognize. I miss her somewhat. The only reason why I still haven't gored her father is that she asked me not to. Although that's her mistake if you ask me. I think Fang was looking out for Trish rather than her father. Oh, come on, Paul. Come on. I'll grab you by the horns. Fang's dad has more in common with elephants than pterodactyls. If Trish tried to headbutt him, she'd have to glue her horns back on afterwards. Yeah, I get it. I'm not a fan of her dad either. Perhaps I should let the sleeping dogs lie. Anyway, when do we meet? I'll talk to you in class. We have the last one together, remember? That's right, sure. And so, our lunch continued. Trish brought up Fang a few more times, telling me what kind of medicine she's supposed to take, and how long her colds would last on average. I'm starting to feel like Trish knows Fang better than Fang's mother does. Eventually, I had to bid Trish farewell and headed out. As the afternoon wears on, students are seen walking through the hallways, chatting to each other. The end of the school day is slowly approaching, so I won't have to suffer for much longer. As I was walking toward my classroom, I spotted a familiar face. It's Stella. She's playing with her tarot cards, as usual. Oh, Annan-kun. Didn't see you there. Hello. Her smile radiates happiness. Is this girl even capable of feeling down? Please drop the kun and never use it again. Talking with Stella can be difficult at times. Want me to read your fate? I have everything I need right here. She held a tarot card, the Fool, between her fingers, and did a pose strikingly reminiscent of card captor Sakura, which I will watch eventually. I prefer the bliss of ignorance. It's not like I have anything against Stella and her usual games, but I'm not in the mood for them right now. Fair enough. She makes a swift movement with her hand, and the card disappears. I wonder when she learned that trick. Listen, I haven't seen Fang today. Is she doing okay? She got a bit sick, but it's nothing serious. Oh, I see. And you, doing good? I'm feeling a bit out of it for some reason, but it's all good otherwise. Ever since the morning, the whole day felt somewhat off. Oh, it's probably the moon influencing your psyche. I guess the name's starting to make a little sense. Oh, it's probably the moon influencing your psyche. Your psyche. Stella just said something I had a hard time fully comprehending. What's the moon got to do with me? You take the moon and you take the sun. You take everything that seems like fun. I swear, I just saw a twinkle in Stella's eye. She smiled widely as if she expected this question. Today's a special day, actually. It's a pierogi... a supermoon. Now she's speaking neither English nor the English language nor the weeaboo language. I think you watch too many cartoons, Stella, and that's coming from me. Maybe lay off that stuff for a bit. As I let out a quick sigh, Stella got somewhat indignant. No, it's a real thing. It's a very rare occurrence when the full moon coincides with perigee, which is the moment that the moon comes closest to the Earth. I'll just pretend I got all of that. This can have all sorts of strange effects on people, you know. I have to admit, she's making more sense than I was expecting, I guess. Did you have any strange dreams last night? Dreams. For some reason, that word struck a chord with me. Now that I think about it, this whole day felt like a fever dream. The strange atmosphere in the air. The time that doesn't seem to make much sense. It feels like I had been thrust out of reality, and I couldn't find my footing in any solid logic. Like this day has been ripped out of some story and left on the table by itself, with no yesterday and no tomorrow. The very thought itself gets me a bit dizzy. Sometimes my life really sounds like a cheap novel. I think I did have a weird dream, but I can't remember it. Ah, that's a shame. You know, a lot of wonderful things can be divined from dreams. Especially the strange ones. But don't worry, it'll all be fine tomorrow. As I try to organize my thoughts, Stella suddenly starts prattling in my ear. Oh, by the way, Have you been watching anything interesting lately? The remake of Yurusi Yatsura just started airing, and I think it's a surprisingly solid take on the original. I've seen all the episodes of that show, and... Ding bong, ding dong, bing bong. The school bell rings. Oh, sweet merciful Lord, thank you. Oh no, I gotta go. See you, Anon-kun. Stella hurried away, and I was left standing alone in the empty hallway. See ya, Stella-chan. Sayonara, Stella-kun. I mumble under my breath, sardonically. It's time to get to class. As boring as it is, my grades can't afford a drop-off. The last period is over. The students leave the classroom, chatting happily about their plans for the evening. I stretch in my chair and look outside the window. The weather is as nice as it was the whole day. The clock on the classroom's wall continues ticking away. It's 3:15 p.m. What? Doesn't school let off at 2? Hey, Anna. A voice woke me up from my stupor. It was Trish. A few classmates turned their heads in surprise. This was probably the first time they saw Trish talk to someone other than Reed or Fang. So you're going? Yep, let's roll. She grinned at me mischievously. Come on, the last one to the school gate is a dumb skinny. Trish picked up her bag and dashed out of the room. This evening is promising to be a long one. Naturally, I lost. For someone so short, Trish is a surprisingly good runner. While I was inept as usual. 5 minutes later, I was still trying to catch my breath. You know, you're pretty good. Trish was walking ahead of me, full of pride. You're 4 younger siblings short from getting to my level, Cave Brother. Cave Brother. Now that's a name I could get used to. Never took you for the sporty type. Oh, really? Just so you know, I can suplex your skinny ass in 4 different ways. I'd like to see you try. And unlike Fang, I won't even feel bad about it. She said, standing on her tiptoes to make herself look more imposing. That sounds like a threat. What, you don't like it rough? Trish laughed at her idea of a joke, while I could only smile and nod. This girl is high octane as usual. Keeping up with her can be tough sometimes. Chin up, Anon. You never had a chance anyways. I was the #1 athlete in this school back in the day. Couldn't count how many times I made our boy Nazar himself eat my dust. I would snatch his favorite baseball cap right off of his crest. Would it have like a hole on the top? Like, well, for him it would be the flat. It's flat, and then it would be like a coin slot on the top. right off his crest, and he'll chase me around the whole school. I always had to beg Fang for it in the end. Didn't catch me once. Oh, he always had to beg Fang for it. Good times. Ever since then, he avoids baseball caps like the plague. So you were on the track team or something? This somewhat explains Trish's usual wardrobe choices. But I only see you play music nowadays. Well, Fang always sucked at sports, and I wanted to stick with her, so we decided to do music instead. Besides, I didn't like the idea of being separated by gender. I can make all the twinks in this school cry. But the school would only let me compete against girls. That sucked. I tried bringing it up with Spears to explain how humiliating it felt. But the other girls told me to shut up. They like having it easy. A bunch of dumb broads, all of them. The only contest they could win is the competitive dick sucking. Well, they probably do that anyways. You should try being more open, you know? Oh, shut up. Fang, Reed, and you are the only ones I talk to in this school. Really? I didn't know. Others can get fucked. Fair enough. So we're going by bus? What did you expect? A taxi? Nah, I don't care either way. Where is that place anyways? Oh, it's... Wait a sec. Where was it? Now that I think about it, that evening with Fang is a bit of a blur. Don't fucking tell me you don't remember. No, I remember. So I was together with Fang. We were little Trudon. Then some guy tried to sell me a pocket Roomba. He spoke in tongues. And he told us where to go. Oh god fucking damn it. Let's call Fang. She should know. No, let's not. I'm sure she's still resting. I don't want to imagine the humiliation I'd have to endure. We just need to get to Little Trudon. I'll figure out the rest from there. Okay, whatever you say. We boarded a bus, which was mercifully empty. Sitting side by side, Trish and I didn't say anything to each other throughout the whole ride. She was deep in thought about something, so I decided not to disturb her. Little Trudon was the same as usual. A chaotic web of street shops and bars filled with all kinds of people. They say you can find literally anything here, as long as you have the money. As a proud Rainbow owner, I can attest to that. So where to now? I think we turn left here. We move our way through the gaps and tiny walk spaces. I think somewhere around here. Like spelunkers exploring a cave. 5 minutes later, it didn't seem like we made much progress. Okay, I have something to admit. I haven't the first clue where Moo's place was. I was there like twice, and it's way outside my usual commute. But I don't want to know what Trish would say if I admit it. So I lead her by the horn until she figures it out. You don't have any idea where it is, huh? Damn, did I just say that out loud? Damn mumbling. Oh, yes, you did. Fuck. Eventually. So what do we do now? Look around. We arrived at a narrow street full of various bars. I don't know. We can go back and look for the pocket Roomba salesman. Can you answer one question, Annan? Sure. What the fuck did Fang see in you? Well, I'm really good at couch therapy. I think I might need some after this. Choosing not to go back, we decided to see what lies ahead instead. Neither of us had any particular ideas at this point. Well, since we're here, might as well have some fun. Trish looked at me, grinning. Any bright ideas? She pointed to the signboard at the other side of the street. The place looked like a bar. Have you seen one of these before? A bar? Yeah, I've heard the rumors. I didn't mean the bar, you clown. That is called a barcade. They sell booze there, and you can also play video games. That last part caught me off guard. Video games? Yes, don't fucking tell me you've never played any. You're the biggest nerd in school. Oh, I did, but what's it to you? I like that stuff. Let's go play something. Today I discovered the kind of forbidden knowledge I was not meant to know. Don't you fucking give me that look, skinny. My family's not exactly rich, but kids love video games. These guys have family days when children are allowed. Where children are allowed, I guess. That's how we spend our Sundays sometimes. Let's see. Gotta admit, I wasn't expecting that. So, you going? Or are you scared you'll get beaten by a girl? You know, I'm a pretty avid gamer. What the fuck did I just say? Come on in before I die of cringe. Trish shoved me through the entrance door. She is definitely stronger than she looks. The place looked like a large, surprisingly clean bar, except that almost every wall, other than the bar itself, was lined with arcade machines. And these weren't any arcade machines. They were all retro. Cam Cop. Bubba. Bubba. Most are older than I am. As we stroll through the entryway, Trish glances at me. You like what you see? I pick up my jaw from the floor and try to regain composure. It is sweet. So, what are you drinking? I don't really do alcohol. I'm too much of a lightweight. Even small amounts might cause me to go off the rails. Trish snorted at me at my honesty. Damn, Fang was right. You really are the king of the dweebs. Don't you forget it. You're free to order me anything if you promise you'll carry my ass through Skin Row at night. I'd rather leave you for the trash collectors. Can you handle iced tea at least? It's a little too much for me. Oh. Yeah, that sounds good. And don't think booze would stop me from kicking your ass. Trish ended up buying herself beer of some kind. What are the laws here? Is it 18 or 21 or whatever? And I got my tea. We decided not to waste any time and moved straight to the arcades. Trish took me through the room and pointed at an old but familiar game. Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. Ah, it's a classic. You know it? Of course I do. Although I've never played it with real people before. Let's get to it then. If you pick Dulcim or Blanca, I'm gonna walk out. And I won't even look at you. Okay? We clear? No Dulcim, no Blanca, no nothing. With a smug look on her face, Trish puts in the tokens and started the game. She picks Guile. I decided to go with the classic and pick Ryu. Come on, you could be a bit more original. If it works, it works. Trish rolled her eyes, and we started the game. The match began. I can tell by her movement that this was far from her first time. She is not jumping everywhere or mashing the attack buttons. Her movements are precise. I need to think carefully about my own actions. As I keep trying to figure her out, Trish jumps in, ready to hit me from above. Need to think carefully. Now, what did it say? Trish jumps in. What should I do? Well, if she's jumping in, you use the Dragon Punch. Thankfully, I know how hitboxes in this game work. Before Trish could react, I input the Hurricane Kick. It's a classic move that sends my character flying horizontally like a helicopter. I managed to hit Trish out of the air. Whatever works, I guess. As her character plummets to the ground and tries to recover, Trish clicks her tongue, annoyed at this early misplay. Damn, you're not a complete idiot. Guess I'll have to get a bit more serious. Our battle continues. Hey, is that girl even of age? I can hear some bar-goer whisper behind us. Trish evidently heard them. Shut up, you cunt! I'm 18. I guess it's Canadian laws? I think. Or somewhere else. I don't know, I'll look it up. Watch the screen, sis. I managed to get the jab in while Trish was busy screaming at others. Don't you try to sucker punch me, skinny. She sent a sonic boom in my direction, which was her fireball move. In response, I sent a Hadouken, my own fireball. They both cancel each other out in the air. Trish now does a crouching block, waiting for my move. Closer, I guess. I might be able to take her by surprise if I get closer. Throwing a fireball in the closer range has to be a safe bet. But then, Trish fires one of her own. Well, no shit. Sonic Boom gets cancelled out sooner than my own, giving her time to counterattack. and she hits me right in the face. Didn't expect that, did ya? We played the neutral game for a bit, throwing jabs at each other. I should be careful and not do anything crazy. But then Trish backs out again. We're a full screen apart now. That's not a good idea. We go back to tossing fireballs at each other. However, her movement is now more precise. Trish learns fast. But I do have a surprise in store. Trish sends her sonic boom in my direction. And at that point, I do a powerful hurricane kick. Really? This attack is capable of flying right above any projectiles. And into my opponent's face. Oh, come on! That's just cheating. How did you do that? I can only smile at her distress. And now we're back in the neutral position. Trish was getting visibly fired up. I wasn't gonna let her win either. People around us also couldn't hope but to notice Trish. It's striking how someone so small could produce so much noise. The way she hammers the buttons is quite frightening. And now it was time for me to make a move. Trish blocks the kick and tries to throw a fireball. Now she really screwed up. Her charge attacks are slow, but my normals are really fast, especially on recovery. She receives a fireball straight to the face. Oh, god damn it. Stop spamming this shit. Do something that requires actual skill for once. The game is now reaching its crescendo. Not a lot of help to spare. Once again, I see Trish trying to jump in on me. I can't screw up now. Yeah. Shoryuken is probably the second most famous move in fighting game history. And that's for a good reason. Trish wasn't expecting it this time. I hit her straight out of the sky. Fuck. The battle was long and grueling. Still, my skills were nothing to scoff at. I managed to land the finishing blow and got my victory. Come on. This isn't fair. Trish definitely wasn't expecting that. How the fuck did you beat me? Well, like you said, I'm a bit of a nerd. I played my fair share of fighting games before. I'm the best player in this goddamn city. Welcome to the real world. You gotta learn, sis. She fell silent for a second. Did I overdo it? She turned away for a second, exhaled sharply, and faced me with a glowing smile. I love these games. Yep, she enjoys this. I'm not done with you. We're gonna play until your arms fall off. I'm gonna get my win. It didn't take long for Trish to regain composure. Whatever you say, sis. The dream of the greatest challenger is endless challenge. Trish really personified this. Competition is where she belonged. I felt kind of bad that she had to abandon this side of her. I ended up winning 10-8, but Trish was still happy with her performance. We're not done. There will be a rematch. Once we consumed all the alcohol, tea, and snacks our wallets allowed, we decided it was time to head out. As we headed down the street, the sun was already setting. Trish drank her fair share and looked quite tipsy. I think we should get you a taxi. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, you feeling good? Just a bit tired. This is the first time I'm seeing Trish drunk. I point her to a bench nearby. She doesn't protest. As we both sat down, I looked at her. She was more relaxed than usual, staring nowhere in particular. Perhaps it's now or never. I always wanted to talk with Trish. You know, I was always wondering about something. Spit it out. Why did you have a bone to pick with me? I wasn't the only dumb idiot in school. So why were you so focused on me? Even after Reed and Fang told you to chill. What, you think drunk sis Trish will spill her guts to you like this? I guess, yeah. I told you before. I was worried about Fang. What you might do to her. But what could I do? Poison her mind with evil ideas or something? Don't act like an idiot. I thought you'd hurt her. How? Trish looked away. She suddenly became very quiet. The same way my shitty dad hurt my mom. I did not expect this answer. What did he do? He swept her off her feet, and then left her heartbroken and alone with a bunch of brats. He didn't even bother paying child support. Simply popped out of existence. I was still in grade school. Others were toddlers. You have no idea how hard that was. What was supposed to be drunk, light-hearted banter turned sour, too fast for comfort. I've never seen Trish look so serious. Shit. I'm sorry. Don't be. Sorry doesn't put food on anyone's table. But you want to know the best part? He was a human. Looked a lot like you too. Okay. Mom met him in college. She thought he was perfect until he wasn't. Suddenly, the puzzle pieces started coming together. You're getting it now? Just imagine how I felt when you rolled in and started grooming Fang. I wasn't grooming anyone. You couldn't leave her alone for a second. Even though you didn't know her at all. It's like you were racing to get into her pants. And then, things started changing. She was only talking about you. Like she was in love. With you. Of course I got fucking nervous. For all I knew, you could have shattered Fang's heart. Or worse. Trish gave a heavy sigh. Before you arrived, Fang was in a very bad place mentally. She would miss school for days on end, lock herself up in a room, probably even hurt herself. Fang hated herself. Because her damn brother took the spotlight. Because her fucking family couldn't care less about her. If you tried playing with her feelings at that point, Fang might have done something stupid. I couldn't allow some airheaded asshole to do that to her. This ticked me off more than it probably should have. Don't pretend like you weren't just as overbearing. It was fucking painful for me to watch Fang ignore herself as she danced to your double bass tune all day long. I felt like I was stopping you from grooming her. Trish felt silent. Did I say too much? I only wanted what was best for Fang. Back then, she was the only friend I had. And I was the only friend she had. I did my best to protect her. That's what you're telling yourself. Seems more like you were scared of letting her do her own thing. Because you're afraid she wouldn't include you. I'm glad that Trish is a quiet drunk. Otherwise she would have started shouting for sure. You know what, Skinny? I turned to her. She looked melancholic. Surprisingly enough, I didn't feel any malice in her words. You're a fucking asshole. But I know you're right. I thought about it. I was an asshole too. I wanted Fang to be free from others, but I only ended up forcing shit on her like others. You know, Fang was always very sensitive. She always took everything close to heart. I told her to stand up for herself, to stop following the crowd and do her own thing. I guess I just wanted her to follow me instead. What a confusing mess. That's life. But she looked back at me and smiled. Don't you fucking think you're off the hook just because I gave you the green light. If I find out that you hurt Fang in any way, I'll find you. And I'll make you cry. I don't doubt it for a second, sis. We both chuckled. Trish is a strange person. She's very aggressive, competitive, a bit sadistic, and she has some attachment issues. But despite it all, I can see that she cares. Like Reed always told me, she really cares. And I can admire that. As minutes passed by in complete silence, I felt something on my shoulder. It was Trish. I guess she's all out of juice now. Looking at her sleeping peacefully on my shoulder, I notice how small she actually is. Hard to believe that she's the same age as all of us. She's also surprisingly light. No matter how much we butt heads with each other, at the end of the day, she's still a girl. Maybe a bit too tomboyish and emotional, but even so. I could hear her whisper something in her sleep. I'm home. I ordered her a taxi and dragged her in the car when it arrived. As it drove away, I looked at the time. It's time to go home. The rest of the evening went without a hitch. I ate my dinner and got to my gaming console. For some reason, I was itching to play some old Street Fighter games again. Fang called me earlier and told me that she's coming back tomorrow. So that's good news. Overall, nothing special happened. And then, ringing, my phone awoke from its slumber. I wonder who could be calling me at this hour. I picked up. You asshole! Moshi and Undisu. And I think I just lost hearing in my right ear. Who gave you the right to lecture me like that? Trish, how the hell did you get my number? Fang told me, you ape. Did you think you can get me drunk and then probe me for private shit while I'm half asleep? I'm pretty sure you're the one who got yourself drunk. No fucking excuses. Apologize right now. Oh boy. And again, what did I expect? It's not like she was blackout drunk. Of course she would remember. Still, she sobered up surprisingly fast. That's athletes for you, I suppose. No substances work for long. I guess her goodwill vanished once the hangover arrived. Well, I was a bit intrusive, all things considered. Okay, sorry about that. Maybe I should have kept my mouth shut. You're goddamn right. I forgive you this time. But don't you pull that shit on me again, you skinny cocksucker. Love you too, Trish. Fuck you! She hung up. Yeah, they'll be fine tomorrow. I think she just released years worth of built-up pressure. And now, with my newfound headache, I should go to sleep. Quiet of the night soothes my ears. However, falling asleep proved difficult. Trish was still on my mind. She is a curious person. I doubt most people will be able to stomach her. I doubt most people will be able to stomach her. In nerd terms, I describe her as all soon with no dare. I'm yet to find a part of her that doesn't have thorns sticking out everywhere. And yet, something about her is alluring. Maybe I can't help but appreciate the passion she carries herself with. Or maybe I appreciate her loyalty to her friends. Or maybe I'm developing the same Stockholm syndrome. Syndrome? I don't know. The same Stockholm syndrome Fang and Reed had. Then, I remembered her telling me excitedly about her athletic achievements. And how she was battling me in that video game. Perhaps this is what she was missing. She just doesn't realize it herself. Trish has a lot of energy, but nowhere to let it out. She wants to prove herself. Maybe I should talk to Fang about it. We could try to get her back into sports. Wouldn't that be a fun project for us four? I'm happy that I met Trish after all. Sometimes we all need some spice in our lives. Try again. Well, let's see what else. Let's head to school. Maybe I shouldn't bother Fang so early in the morning. I'm sure she's just resting. If I come right now, I'll only disturb her for no good reason. I pick up my bag and head outside. They haven't been practicing recently, and now Fang might be out of commission as well. See, okay. Since it's early, I might as well take a scenic route to the school instead of the usual one. It would be good for my health. As I went down the sidewalk, the morning crowd attracted my attention. Humans and dinos alike rushed through the streets, hurrying to catch the bus, or get somewhere, or whatever. Most shops are still closed, but some are unpacking the goods already. Kids with excessively large backpacks are waiting for the school bus. Despite the cold, the sky is clear, so today is promising to be a fine day in general. Even in the early hours, it seemed that Volcadera is as awake as it's ever going to be. When I reach the crossing, I spot a certain familiar hot dog stand. The smell of Frank's wafts through the air, and a yellow dino is scrambling behind the counter. Tracy is already working at full force. Apparently, the Tracy mod got cancelled. But You know, that might change in the future one day, who knows, but that's unfortunate. Tracy is already working at full force. But she's not alone. A certain green stegosaurus is chatting with her. It's Stella, a girl with her head so high up in the clouds, you'd have to wonder how she can stand up without tipping over. I don't mind Tracy, but Stella's overbearing company might be a bit too much for me so early in the morning. Though it's not like she deserves to be avoided outright. I wonder what I should do. Let's say hi. Stella's not a bad girl, so let's go say hi. As I approach them, Tracy is the first to spot me. Well, if it isn't Annan, what brings you here so early? Oh, Annan-kun, so nice to meet you here. Stella waves at me energetically, trying to ignore her usual quirks. I smile at her and wave back. I could say the same to you, Tracy. Why are you working so early? You have no idea how many people have a craving for hot dogs before work. Such as Stella right here. She pointed at Stella, who was already consuming hers surprisingly fast. Oh, you know each other? Yes. I actually live nearby, so I always visit Tracy on the way to school. Yep, she's been my most steady source of income for a while now. Both girls chuckle at each other. So, can I get you anything? Sure, why not? I'm not hungry, but standing here empty-handed would look pretty dumb. Vegan or meat? Do you even have vegan options? Of course I do. You can't survive in this business otherwise. In case you forgot, unlike you skinnies, most dinos are either carnivores or herbivores. Any vendor worth their salt would account for both. I feel dumb for asking this question. Sometimes I still forget. I'm not in a human neighborhood anymore. I'm a Herbie myself, as a matter of fact. I'll go with meat, thanks. One meat dog coming right up. Watching Tracy do her thing is like watching a performance. She juggles condiment bottles, quite literally, like she's been doing this since birth. So, as a herbivore, are you physically unable to eat meat? Well, not really, but I can barely stomach it. Always gives me a nasty bellyache. It's the same for me. In grade school, a certain someone tried to prank me by feeding me a dino nugget, and I ended up in a medical room. Sounds like a pain. I'm glad we skinnies are omnivores. I can eat whatever I want. Oh, really? Why don't you try eating grass here? Let's see how you like it, Mr. Omnivore. That's just mean. I can do it, though. It's kind of bitter, but edible. Makes for a fun party trick. Same here. Aren't you supposed to be a chef, Tracy? I thought your palate was more refined. I'm a street vendor. Don't lump me up with those pansies hiding in their kitchens, afraid of the real world. Sounds like I struck a nerve. Did you work in a restaurant before? As a matter of fact, I did, 5 years ago. They fired me after I decided to spice up their stew recipe. How did you spice it up? I added some frog legs. What? I never took Tracy for the French cuisine enthusiast. For your information, they're very nutritious. But that asshole of a sous chef didn't appreciate it and threw me out. Meanwhile, his fat ass couldn't tell medium well from medium rare. Goddamn hack. I could barely hear that last part. But don't worry about it. I make 3 times as much money doing what I love here than slaving away in a restaurant kitchen. And I make a bunch more friends. Tracy smiles at Stella, who's about to enjoy her second dog. Stella blushes a bit and turns to me. So, Annan, how was your morning? It was fine. I woke up way earlier than usual for some reason. But Fang got sick, so that's a bummer. Oh, your lady friend. I haven't seen her in a while. Send her my best wishes. I hope she gets better soon. Is it anything serious? She told me it's all fine. She just won't be at school today. My words made Stella pause for a moment. You know, it's probably the moon's influence. And she just said something weird. Come again? The moon is influencing you both. Today's a special day after all. Think I missed the memo. I swear I just saw a twinkle in Stella's eye. A supermoon? Yeah. Lay off that stuff. She got some indignant. It's a real thing. Yeah. Okay. You know, a lot of wonderful things can be defined from dreams, especially strange ones. But don't worry, it'll all be fine tomorrow. You two remind me of my own school days. We were all obsessed with astrology and mysticism back then. Do kids still play with Ouija boards? Those were fun. Yeah, at 3 a.m. to summon the Among Us creatures. I don't know. I swear YouTube used to not be that bad back then. But sometimes I remember how bad YouTube could be back then. And then I'm just like, and then I start weighing my options. And I'm like, you know what? Like, there's all kinds of things to consider with both the old and the new. And it's just, it's like the scale of justice. You never really know where it's going to tip. I have 2. Why am I not surprised? We kept talking for a few minutes. Eventually, as Stella ordered her 3rd hot dog, I decided to head to school before she could follow me. This girl sure is something. Well, that was unexpected. One of those lines just poofed, you know? But now it's the same day. Now it's all good. It's been a couple hours, I guess. And, well, let's see here. Can I... am I not able to... Guess I'm not able to turn the camera around to the front, so I'll just have to point it and hope it sees. Yeah. Yeah, you see that purple symbol right there? That's the recording I was using when the power went out. And well, OBS warns you that if you use if you have it output as an MP4 as opposed to an MKV, it won't be able to save properly in case the power goes out. It specifically warns you about that. Well, I guess I'm a dumbass because, like, I guess for like the past month or so, these lights in my room have been kind of flickery. Maybe that was a precursor to that line busting its nut and leaving us in the dark, unsatisfied. So that last like hour of footage, I don't know what to do. I might just have to re-record the whole thing, or I don't know, maybe leave in little bits and pieces of. I mean, the camera recording's fine, but whatever, I'll figure it out, and you'll see the end results of it. Uh, and back to the game, I guess, when I get through this editing hellhole that just happened. Bill Clinton.